Late one night in eastern Canada, the robbers carried out a bold and well-coordinated theft. One waited in a car park near an ATM kiosk with the engine running, while the other arrived in an excavator, its loud engine breaking the silence. The excavator operator quickly got to work, using the machine's arm to forcefully pull the ATM from its base. Within moments, the machine was dislodged. With careful control, he lifted it and placed it on the roof of the waiting car, despite the risky and unstable setup. After securing the ATM, the operator abandoned the excavator, rushed into the car, and joined his partner. Within seconds, they drove off, leaving behind a damaged scene and the heavy machine. On a quiet night in Western California inside a quiet grocery store, a group of thieves had already positioned themselves, carefully preparing for a bold and destructive robbery. Without warning, one of the thieves rushed into the store carrying a long metal chain. Before anyone could react, he quickly wrapped and secured it tightly around the ATM machine inside the store. At the same moment, another thief in a waiting car outside revved the engine. The chain was attached to the vehicle, and within seconds, the car accelerated forward with force. The sudden pull yanked the ATM from its fixed position, ripping it out of the floor and causing significant damage to the store's interior. With the ATM now outside, still chained to the car, they quickly sped off together, dragging the heavy machine behind them as they escaped. The scene was left in shock and disarray, marking a bold and destructive theft. A frightening situation unfolded on the streets of Colombia when an American tourist found herself targeted by a thief armed with a knife. What started as a routine walk quickly turned into a tense encounter. The thief approached her and suddenly tried to snatch her bag, using the knife to threaten and intimidate her. But instead of freezing, the tourist resisted. She held tightly to her belongings and struggled to keep control, refusing to give in despite the danger. Her resistance drew attention. Within moments, nearby passers-by noticed what was happening and rushed in to help. Together, they intervened and overpowered the thief, stopping the robbery before it could go any further. The attacker was subdued, and the tourist was left shaken but safe. The incident highlights both the risks travelers can face and the impact of quick action, both from victims who stay alert and from bystanders willing to step in and help. In broad daylight in western Turkey, a group of robbers carried out a bold attack on a jewelry store in a busy street. Without warning, they reversed a car at high speed into the storefront, smashing through the entrance and causing immediate chaos. Several of the robbers quickly got out and rushed inside the store, breaking glass display cases and grabbing jewelry and other valuables. Their actions were fast and coordinated, while a few of them stayed outside as lookouts to monitor the surroundings and ensure no one intervened. Despite the attention the crash drew, they continued the robbery for a short time before running back to their car. Within moments, they drove off at speed, leaving behind a damaged shop and stunned witnesses. What happened turned an ordinary day into a shocking scene, showing how quickly such incidents can unfold even in a crowded public space. A woman stood at the front of her house, going about her day, when the sound of a motorbike approaching caught her attention. Two men pulled up abruptly and, before she could react, they demanded her belongings. Shocked and unprepared, she hesitated, and within seconds they grabbed what they could. The thieves rushed back onto their motorbike to make a quick escape. But just then, a passerby in a car who had witnessed the entire incident made a split-second decision. The driver accelerated and crashed into the motorbike, knocking it off course and stopping the thieves in their tracks. The sudden impact disrupted their escape and drew immediate attention from people nearby. What began as a swift robbery attempt quickly turned into chaos. The thieves, caught off guard, were unable to flee, and the situation shifted as bystanders started to gather. In the end, the unexpected intervention of the driver completely changed the outcome, preventing what could have been a clean getaway. Two robbers targeted a small group of people gathered in an open area. The situation escalated in seconds as they approached the group and brandished a gun, ordering everyone to hand over their valuables. The entire encounter lasted only a short time, but it was enough to leave everyone shaken. However, just as they were about to get away, one of them suddenly stopped, appearing unsteady and disoriented. Within moments, he collapsed to the ground, leaving the scene in unexpected chaos. His partner was briefly stunned but quickly reacted. Instead of fleeing immediately, he dragged the collapsed robber toward the vehicle, struggling to get him inside despite the urgency and confusion. A man was filling his car at a gas station when two thieves attempted to rob him, believing he was vulnerable and alone. The situation quickly escalated as the men tried to intimidate him and take his belongings. However, the man grabbed his fuel pump and sprayed fuel on the thieves and into their car. The unexpected response immediately disrupted their plan and caught them off guard. Startled and realizing things were not going in their favor, the thieves abandoned their attempt and quickly fled the scene. The man did not pursue them, instead ensuring the area was safe and that no one nearby was in danger. In the end, what could have been a successful robbery was prevented through quick thinking and presence of mind. A man and his girlfriend had just finished their outing and returned to his car parked along a quiet roadside. As they settled inside, a man on a bicycle approached quickly from the side of the road. The cyclist stopped beside the window, pulled out a gun, and pointed it directly at him. But in a split second, the situation escalated. As the robber leaned closer, the man made a sudden move, and a struggle broke out through the car window. The driver grabbed the robber's arm while the robber tried to maintain control of the gun. Both of them fought fiercely, drawing attention from nearby pedestrians and passers-by. Within moments, several bystanders rushed toward the scene after noticing the struggle. Some shouted for help while others quickly intervened, helping to overpower the robber and disarm him. The situation turned in seconds as the group worked together to restrain him until he could no longer escape. Eventually, the robber was fully subdued and held down until authorities were alerted. The tension slowly faded as order was restored, leaving the couple shaken but safe, and the incident serving as a reminder of how quickly situations can escalate and how community action can make a difference. On a bright Sunday morning, a woman was driving her car along a quiet road. She was focused on her drive, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere of the day. Everything seemed normal until the car directly in front of her suddenly slowed down and came to an unexpected stop. At first, she assumed there might be a minor issue with the vehicle. However, her concern quickly turned into alarm when the men stepped out of the stopped car. They began walking quickly toward her car with guns drawn. It became immediately clear that this was not a coincidence but a planned attempt to rob her. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the woman acted without hesitation. Rather than freezing in fear, she made a quick decision to escape. She pressed down hard on the accelerator and steered her car skillfully to create an opening. As she maneuvered forward, she struck one of the approaching thieves, knocking him off balance. The sudden and unexpected move disrupted their plan completely. Within seconds, she drove past them and sped away from the scene. The thieves, surprised by her bold reaction, were left behind as she zoomed into safety. What had begun as a peaceful morning drive nearly turned into a dangerous encounter, but her quick thinking and decisive action allowed her to escape unharmed. Late one night, a man was driving home with his family when suddenly a car sped in front of them and blocked the road. Before he could react, 3 masked men jumped out of the vehicle and opened fire on their car. Gunshots echoed through the dark street as the family panicked inside. But the attackers didn't realize one thing: the car was bulletproof. The bullets struck the windows and doors but couldn't penetrate the vehicle. Thinking quickly, the driver slammed the car into reverse, maneuvered around the attacker's car, and then hit the accelerator. Within seconds, they sped away from the scene, leaving the shocked gunmen behind.